Customer couldn't believe I pulled up in a two-door Honda. He's like, where's your van? Where's your truck? Honda. Mark Colbert, Speedokote Finish Network. All right, it is that time. We got some more mobile work coming out. That time of the season, everybody wants to get their cars right. Tax time, whatever. Or unfortunately, like this person, you know, got smacked in a parking lot. Luckily, it wasn't extremely bad at all. All the body lines are still good. There wasn't any actual damaged, broken clips, any damaged trim. It was just some scratches in the bumper. So I'm going to show you guys today how to do a professional smart repair. We are outside in the elements. We got trees, we got wind, we got dust, we got all these things. I'm going to show you guys the products I use to get the cleanest possible job, you know, and also get, you know, a decent repair. Obviously, I briefed this customer very well. You know, this is not a perfect repair. Many channels, including my buddy Brian from Paint Society, will tell you, you know, paint blends do not last forever. You know, this is a, hey, let's get it, you know, looking better than what it does. If you use a good quality clear coat, I'm using Speedokote today. Typically speaking, these types of blend repairs, they can last for years. They can last 5 to 7 years. It all just depends on the elements they're exposed to, your environment. Is it garage kept? Looks like it is, so it looks like this is going to have a better shot at lasting. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the camera down. We're going to go ahead, we're going to get started on this thing. Many of you guys have seen my infamous setup out of my two-door Honda. It's pretty packed, it's gotten pretty tight, but I'm still making it work for the time being. I have 2 big bags of tools and about 4 to 5 small bags of tools. So we got our Vevor 6-gallon air compressor. This is my saving hero. We got the full body masking for the auto body police and want to know, oh, Marco, you're going to get overspray over the whole car, blah, blah, blah. Also, these are you mobile guys out there, make sure you always bring a spare airline. So what I did with this repair to make a more seamless transition between the old paint and the new paint, I actually buffed out right near where we did the repair, just so that the new paint didn't totally look, you know, make the old paint look like crap. So we kind of gave that area a spot buff. Now we're just wiping it off with any wax or grease removed. Now we're going to start on the actual repair. So we're going to start, the 2 major grits you need when doing mobile auto body is 180 and 400. And when I go into my bag, those are the first 2 grits I'm grabbing. 180 to sand out some scratches. You don't want to go 80 grit most of the time. 180 is, you know, coarse enough, but not too coarse where you're going to damage the bumper. So bottom, sand it out pretty good. Now, the top, as you guys can see, the paint, we use the paint itself as a guide coat. As you guys can see, we got a low spot. Okay, so we're going to wipe this down. When it comes to spot fillers and spot putties, the SMR 15 is top dog. It is the best in the world when it comes to spot putties. Guys, I've been doing auto body since I've been 17 years old. I've used tons of different fillers. Ain't nothing out there work as good as the SMR 15. I'm telling you guys from the bottom honest truth, that stuff is amazing. Now, while our filler's drying, we're taking advantage of our time, okay? We're not going to sit around and be lazy and let the filler dry. We're starting to scuff them edges and make more progress on the repair. So now what we're doing is we got 180 grit, back with the 180. We're just roughing up this filler and starting to get it flat. We're not going to burn through the filler with the 180. Now we're going to get it flat, and then we're going to move to the 400, and we're going to start to feather out this filler, get it 100% flat, or as flat as we can. And then, you know, we're going to prep this area for primer, and then we're pretty much ready for paint after that. Now guys, for my retail customers, customers that, this is a home style repair, this is their baby, I always up the quality a little bit. I sand everything out with 800 grit to give it an ultra smooth, ultra smooth foundation for my base coat and my primer to go over. Now, one of the latest tool upgrades to my rig is a paper masking machine. Guys, this has been a serious game changer in speed and productivity in my mobile repair unit. This stuff, guys, this masking machine, it's pull, rip, and slap it on the car. It is so easy. It's definitely made my life extremely easier on the road. And like I said, for the crybaby police, we went ahead and we masked up the whole car. And we're getting ready for some primer. We got a little primer barrier. We put a little paper right next to our primer spot. We don't want to get primer in the clear coat blend area. So we squirted just about a coat and a half of primer on there. We're sanding it out with a soft pad, 400 grit, and 600 grit. 400 grit just to knock out some of the orange peel out of the primer. And then we're going to immediately go after it with, not 600 grit. We got the 800 grit. Again, we're going to go back over the 400 with 800. And once again, that 800 grit is really just going to give it that ultra smooth foundation for our base coat to lay on top of and give it a ultra good finish. Now, the next super cool thing about this masking machine, it's also my new mixing table. No more mixing paint on the ground like I used to when I was mobile. This thing is so awesome. We're spraying with the Mark 1 Eco. This is one of my top dog guns. You guys know I've been spraying with this thing for about 4 years now. We got the Speedokote Fast Reducer. I love the Speedokote Fast Reducer. A lot of the Speedokote Reducers, just in general, they really do make my paint work come out just that much better. No matter what paint I'm using, I always use Speedokote Reducer 99% of the time. We're slapping our PPS cup on the Mark 1 Eco gun. This gun, like I said, it's top dog, man. I love it. Very durable. Flip it upside down, twirl around, never leaks. So our base coat, we are actually blowing the base coat in the opposite direction of our clear coat blend. One thing about doing smart repairs, you never want to get base coat in your clear coat blend area. You want to keep it at least a couple inches away. So flip your gun sideways, push the paint in the other direction, do what you got to do. Now, I've been getting some complaints about, hey Marco, the SMR 1150 isn't on the Speedokote site anymore. And oh, I got to pay shipping on eBay. Guys, stop ordering Speedokote from eBay. Just order it direct through Speedokote. If you buy 2 gallons of clear at $75 a kit, and all orders over $100 ship free, you can get 2.5 gallons of this stuff sent to your house for $150. Go order Speedokote direct, either call it in or order through email, and order directly through us, guys. It mixes up 4 to 1, as you guys can see. We're popping on our lid, our cap, giving it a little shake, and it's ready to rock. You really don't have to let this stuff sit around. You pretty much, after you mix it, it's a low solids clear. So I pretty much, right after you shake it up and mix it, it's pretty much ready to rock. Our first coat of clear, we are only going over the base coat spot. So I'm going to explain the science behind paint and why we only put 1 coat of clear on spot repairs over the base. So this is a typical panel. Okay, we have bare metal, the substrate, then the primer soaks into the substrate, the panel. The base coat soaks into the primer, and then the clear coat sucks into the base coat as a 3-part system. When we're doing spot repairs, there's an area of the panel that is exposed that is only clear coat. So when you're putting clear coat on top of clear coat, there's nothing for it really to suck into. So there is no need to put clear coat all the way over to your blend edge on the first coat. You want to go ahead and leave that alone. That will limit the amount of overspray that gets into that, past that area, ultimately leaving you with a cleaner job in the end. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to very carefully spray a little bit of clear on in that blend zone right to the edge of our scratches. We're going to put our second coat of clear over the rest of the repair, okay? Now we're going to spray our blender right over that dry edge and just melt it in beautifully to the point where you can't even tell where we started and stopped the clear. And as you guys can see, this is a polish-free blend. This is right off the gun. Wow, look at that. No polish, no wet sanding, no buffer. That is off the gun, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly how you want a spot repair to look like. Now, the most dissatisfying thing about spot repairs is, of course, there's areas around the repair that still are not 100%. We got rock chips and things of that nature. However, this came out very acceptable, and I'm very happy with this repair. It's got a little bit of texture to it. Could be just because it's still wet. Could be because we're using fast activator on a kind of a cold day and they might be fighting against each other. But overall, this is a success, ladies and gentlemen.
There you guys have it. Almost perfect spot repair. The worst conditions. It's 45 degrees today. It's windy as heck. We got pine needles all in the driveway, and we still nailed this job. One of the biggest things about being a successful painter, even though all the YouTube police love to talk about all my mistakes, that's the biggest one, is actually making mistakes so you can actually get better. Number two, putting yourself in the worst conditions to actually get to be a better painter. If you're always painting in a down dry paint booth, climate controlled, clean filters, top of the line, $400 gallon clear coat, you ain't a painter. You ain't ever going to be able to be the best painter. Guys out there that can work with the bare bottom stuff, the bare bottom paint, the bare bottom clear. Not to say that this is, the Speedokote stuff is trash, but let's just be honest. The SMR 1150 is $80 for a kit. When you can combine those cheaper materials with these types of conditions, okay, pine needles in a driveway, dust flying everywhere, and get a job like that, that is success. That is what is called being a successful painter. The blend, smooth transition. You almost could not even tell where I started and stopped that clear. That is my preferred method of blending. There's some guys out there that, they wet sand and buff them, and they, run a buffer over them. And, me personally, I've tried that in the past. And what always ends up happening is you run that clear too thin on the edge, and it just keeps burning back. I find if you just do a touch-free blend, okay, so you stop your clear coat right at the end of your scratches, you spray that blend over there. That is what I find to be the best and also fastest way to fix that type of, that dry edge. One thing I got to remind you guys, and I say this almost every time I blend paint, if you got to spend the time to wet sand and polish and all this other stuff, you might as well just paint the whole panel, because that takes an extra half an hour to an hour to do all that wet sanding and polishing and all that stuff. In my opinion, you could probably just do the whole panel in one shot, depending on the panel. Do the whole panel in one shot in an hour and just have the whole thing shot. It's just my opinion. Everybody likes to do it a different way, whatever way works for you. I've seen other guys that do it their way, and I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, it still looks pretty good. I mean, he took a little more time to get the result, but still looks pretty good. As far as the SMR 1150, wow. 45 degrees outside. We put on the first coat. I went, checked my phone, shot a couple messages. Came back about 3 to 5 minutes later. It's already starting to tack up. Wham, a second coat on there. No runs, no sags. Tiny bit of texture. Just because of the, like I said, guys, we're spraying outside where it's cold. We're using fast activator. So the weather's telling it to do one thing. The activator's telling it to do another thing. And you get kind of a conflict of interest in there. We got to come out as good as we could. The thing I'm going to say to those people out there that are painting Kias, these new Kia Tellurides, good luck. Good luck. These things look wet sanded and buffed from the factory. The paint on these things is so flat. You almost will have to wet sand and polish or flow coat, or you just got to be in the absolute best possible conditions using the most expensive paints to get that paint as flat as it came from factory. It's very, very challenging. We did fail a little bit on that aspect. It did have a little bit of texture in it. I'm still happy with the repair. At the end of the day, this customer got this car done in their driveway in less than 2 hours. It's 12:30 now. I think I got started at 10:30. This would have been a 1 hour job if I wasn't filming and running back. Oh, check the camera up. Got to hit the record button. Blah, blah, blah. This would have been a 1 hour job, maybe hour and a half. And they got it done right in the convenience of their driveway. right over here in central Pennsylvania. So, you know, to get that kind of convenience and whatnot, with the result we got, this is 100% a win-win. Anyways, car's back in the garage. I got to get packed up here, throw everything back in my little two-door Honda. Customer couldn't believe I pulled up in a two-door Honda. He's like, "Where's your van? Where's your truck?" Honda. But we're gonna get packed up. I gotta head out of here and go get some lunch. I'm starving. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. New videos every week.